Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at Elements, which is a pretty strange little card game designed by Team Cyan, published back in 2010. This is strictly for 2 players. So this is, as I said, a card game, and it's pretty much a micro game where you only have 18 of these tarot-sized cards. And the layout of these cards are going to be, there's going to be 6 sixes, there's going to be 2 5s, 2 4s, 2 3s, 2 2s, and 2 1s. And you're also going to get a bunch of the star wooden tokens, which are going to be your points. And the objective of the game is you want to be the first person to reach 6 points. So I've set up for 2 players here. Well, this is only a 2-player game, but of course, these would normally be secret in players' hands, but for the purpose of this review, I'll play openly like so. So this is pretty much, I'll describe it as a game of blackjack, but with a moving target. So you're not quite sure on what you need to keep back and what you need to play in front of you, and that's going to change from play to play. So in this game, you're going to have, I believe it's 5 options. The first of which is to play a card. And when you play a card, you're going to pick one of the cards in your hand and you're going to play them to the center of the table for all players to see. And then you're going to announce the value here, or the total value. So at the moment it's going to be 6. So let's say that player did that. The next person might do a similar thing, and let's say they played this 4 here. Then they're going to play them and they're going to fan them out in order, so you need to make sure they stay in order, and then you're going to announce the new limit. So let's say they played this one and it would be a value of 10, so you're going to say publicly 10. So that's going to be the first option you can do. The next option you can do is to take a card from the center and add it in front of you. So let's just say I took this 4 here, I put it in front of me like so, and announce the new limit, which is now 6. And now this is important because this here is going to contribute to my ultimate value. So this is going to be my public display as well as my private display. So at the moment my limit is quite high here. So I've got 10, 16, 21, 22, 26, which is obviously way higher than this 6 limit, because the objective is to be as close as you can to that target in the middle without going over. So at the moment I'm way over. So let's say the next player wanted to, let's say they threw this 3 in the middle to make the new value 9. Another option I can do is to discard a 6 from play. So again, if you're really over the limit, you can just say, look, publicly, I'm getting rid of a 6 from my hand and discard it from play to create my new limit. So I'm really working towards this limit here, but I'm still way over. And that's going to be basically how you play out until you're happy to take another action, which is called knock. So let's just say, just for example's sake, so we've got a 9 target in the middle here. This person's currently playing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's just say they played this 2 here, like so. So now the new value is 11, and this player's value is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is pretty good. So we're under the limit without going over, and we've got an inkling that this player is going to be way behind. But let's just say this player for the next action discarded another 6. So we're really into play now. And then this player will have another option. They can either play a new card, they can take a card from the middle and add it to their public display, or they can, of course, discard a 6, which might be a silly thing to do because we're pretty close to that target. But the next option you can do is to knock. And when you knock, you're basically declaring that that's going to be the end of the round and that you think you're close to this limit and you're going to win the round. So when you knock, you're going to show the cards available to you and reveal it. So this is going to be a value of 10, the limit being 11. Then the other player is going to do the same, and they're going to put all their cards in front of them, add it to the ones that have already been claimed from the middle. So their limit here is we've got 9, 10, 14. So that's going to be way over, and they're going to go bust. So therefore this player has correctly knocked, and therefore they're going to take 2 points from the supply, and they made the right decision there. So the other option you can do is to yield. So if you really feel like you're not going to win the round and you think your opponent's going to win 2 points, you can choose to yield, which will only give your opponent 1 point rather than the 2. And that's basically how the game is going to play until somebody collects 6 points. Now, of course, if I was to knock and my opponent had the higher value, then they would get the points. And if I was to knock and if I was over the limit, I'd give my opponent 2 points as well. And if I was to knock and we had the same limit, then also my opponent would win 2 points. So you have to be very sure that you're in a good position and take that gamble and take that punt on being under that limit but being closer than your opponent. So that's basically how the game plays. Very simple back and forth, basically blackjack with a moving target. But let's talk about my opinions on Elements. So for me, Elements feels like a really old, traditional, quick card game that pretty much anybody can pick up, but that's pretty fun. And, there is quite a lot of swinginess in this game. Sometimes you're not going to have the cards to get that to that target, or you're going to have to keep getting rid of loads of sixes, or potentially build that middle up so you can increase that limit to hopefully hurt your opponent. But I do like the way that you can take a speculative guess. You're not sure exactly all the cards that are in play because there are 4 taken out each round, so the information isn't perfect, but it's pretty good. And you've got to bear that all in mind to see which decision you're going to take. Are you going to gamble and hopefully catch your opponent off guard by knocking early, knowing that you're under the limit and hoping they're over the limit, and so on. So for normally a game, most of my gaming life, I like games that are quite deterministic. I like games that I can clearly work out what I'm going to do. But this one is so quick and so breezy that really works with the game rather than against it. So again, you can get this game done in probably 15 minutes, and that's until somebody gets 6 points, so not each round. So sometimes you're going to be have a hand of cards and it's not going to work with you, and then in a couple of card plays, you're going to be already lose the round. So yeah, you have to be prepared that sometimes the cards are going to not be to your benefit. But you do have enough time to rectify that and hopefully do some clever plays. But there is some autonomy here. Are you going to increase the middle? That maths of, am I going to claim it and take from the middle but add to my hand and so on? So it all works really well. And I like the way that you can trade the cards around and to constantly tinker with that middle number to work to your benefit. But at the pressure, anytime your opponent could knock. The game does play remarkably quickly. This is only a 15-minute game, and for me, this is like a true filler. A lot of games nowadays are branded as filler games, and sometimes they take 45 minutes or so. But this is one of those real games where, at the end of a game night, maybe it's you and one person left, you just want to get that last game out of your system. Maybe you've got 15 minutes to burn. This is one that you can get out there. Little to no setup, obviously just 18 cards, deal the 6 cards out when you're ready to go, and just get playing straight away. The replayability is, it is what it is, really. It's not a game where you can try different things each round, but because it is so tactical and quick, it is a game you're going to get to the table quite often. I wasn't quite sure what to expect with this one because, again, I got a lot of great card games. This one is a really good one. But because it's so quick, I find I getting to the table so often, and since I picked this one up, it's been a regular hit for me, and it keeps getting to the table, which is more than what I expected. Aesthetically, I think the game looks beautiful. It's a lovely artwork here. These cards are massive tarot-sized cards, really thick, chunky cards, probably the best card quality I've ever seen, to be honest. The artwork on them look like these really cool medieval drawings, like Dennis Lauhausen is a brilliant artist. I like him for a lot of his Euro games, but this one just fits so well with the game. And people are going to look at this and think, this is really striking, and I'd love to play with these cards. So yeah, love the artwork, love the production. For a card game, it's very well done. That's pretty much all I can say really for Elements, because it is so simple. I can't go do a big deep dive on this one, but what I will say is that, to go back on my previous comment, this is a real filler game, one that's going to be a great one for 2 players if you are just waiting for that 3rd player to turn up to game night. Now, this one I've introduced to different players. I play it with more gamier gamers, really salty gamers, and they really enjoy it. And I played this one with the ultimate casual gamer, and they enjoyed it as well. And I think it's great because they stand a chance of winning. If you've really experienced at this game, you can play well, but sometimes it just will not work in your favour, and you can be caught off guard, which means that anybody can win at any time. But again, because it is so light and so breezy, that is not going to leave you disgruntled or criticising the game, because it is just what it is, really. So this one's been a surprise hit for me. I'm really enjoying it still. I've got this one to the table a lot of times, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon. So this is a really nice niche to fit in my collection. That tension of, these cards are really bad. I'm going to pass here and just give my opponent 1 point rather than fighting to the end and getting giving them 2 points. I love that decision. It's been used in games such as Air, Land and Sea, and it works just as well here. But maybe not quite as well, but it does work well for this game, and it's an extra decision what you need to consider. So yeah, a really nice, cheap, affordable, quick card game for 2 players. Elements, check it out if you can. It's probably been overlooked for a long time, but I think it is worth your attention. So that is Elements.